morning, everybody. I hope that most of you have your electricity back. We had a really crazy storm that came in the other day, and it was so fast, so furious, and in various areas pictures were posted where it really looked like it was a tornado. Now, I understand that the Weather Service did say that there was a possible tornado, but we don't know. Is it confirmed? It's crazy when you see the damage that North Georgia got, and actually from Ball Ground to Canton to Ellijay, just craziness all the way up into the Ducktown area. So if you were blessed and you have your electricity and you haven't lost it, wow, be very, very thankful, because so many people lost power, so many people lost trees and debris and craziness out in the road. And the one thing we need to all remember in this weather is please pray for the power companies who are coming in from other areas to help us, because yeah, we still have outages in our area. We're going to share some photos. These are your photos, and they are from various areas, and we look at how quickly the damage was. We had a video done in Ball Ground, and I was like, this can't be, because we were sitting in a restaurant enjoying a nice dinner, and all of a sudden you look outside and the sky is black and the wind is going crazy and trees are going crazy, and you're like, how in the world did this happen? So we're going to share the photos of the trees, the debris, and you know what this showed? God keeps showing up, because God keeps showing up as neighbors came together, as neighbors helped each other, as neighbors just joined in and said, hey brother, I can help you out. If you need help, pick up the phone and call. And to Amicalola, wow, I can only imagine how many times your phone was ringing. And a little advice to everybody: when there's a huge outage, it isn't necessary for everybody to call. And it certainly isn't necessary for people to call over and over and over. They get to it as fast as they can. I know that Marble Hill had a lot of outages. There are so many outages everywhere. And the power company did absolutely amazing work to get anybody back up in the dead of night. It was dark, it was windy, it was crazy. But when you see the photos we're going to share, you will see that in 5 minutes we went from dark and windy and trees falling to a beautiful, beautiful rainbow. And after the rainbow, here came the sun. And then there was this beautiful, beautiful sunset. So if you ever doubt God, no, He keeps showing up. He keeps showing up. And He showed up that afternoon. I think it was around 8 o'clock when the bad part was coming through. And at that time, sadly, one young man lost his life, and we're going to share a little information on that in just a minute. But when we think about how blessed we are, we're all still here this morning. Yeah, we got debris to clean up, and yeah, you got some downed trees, and that's what it is. But one young man lost his life, and you need to be praying for that family, the Wilson family from Woodstock. And we never know. We don't know that moment, that hour. After the storm, stupid me was out taking photos, and I went to all the neighborhoods that we serve, and I checked out everybody's property, and I was trying to, okay, let's evaluate what happened here and what happened here. And I'm taking pictures and I'm driving around, and then I get home and on the news it says that somebody was killed when a tree fell on his car. We never know. We never know when something like that's going to happen. And as I was driving around, I was kind of thinking about it, and I was kind of looking over my head, you know, and I'm kind of like, wow. So be cautious. And one of the things we can do to prepare for those storms is get a safe spot in your house. Because when the wind is really, really blowing, you don't know if a tree's going to come through. You don't know if glass is going to be broken. But choose a safe spot for your family to be in. Choose a safe spot for you to hunker down. And if you have a basement, honey, that's where you hunker down. That is the safe spot. So, you know, make a plan with your family, because this storm came up really, really fast. And again, it was crazy. I got off work, it was sunny, it was beautiful. I was taking pictures of all the houses under construction. and then went to grab a bite to eat, and sitting there looking around, and all of a sudden everything is black, and I'm like, this is crazy. And the wind was blowing, but you know what was happening at that moment? There was also a prayer meeting going on, and they were praying in the restaurant at the time the storm hit. Well, I run outside, I jump in my car, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so dark so fast, and the wind was blowing so hard, and it was gone in less than 10 minutes. It was gone in less than 10 minutes. So we just have to protect ourselves and be cautious and be careful. Today we're going to go back, way back, because today the boys and I are taking a trip, and we are going way back about 75 years. When we leave here, we're going to be getting and gathering special information to do something that y'all are going to get to see here on ETC. And it's going to be featuring the music of many of the people who have stood on the stage at the Georgia Mountain Fair. It's going to be featuring Merle Haggard. It's going to be featuring Loretta Lynn. It's going to be featuring even Hank Williams Jr. It's going to be featuring so many people who have graced the Georgia Mountain Fair with their presence, with their amazing music. And we're going to really pay tribute to those who have gone on. And so many of them have gone on. Percy Sledge is gone. Golly doodle, I cannot believe Charlie Pride is gone. It was like COVID got him. But there's so many of the people who have been to the Georgia Mountain Fair. Had they not ever been there, you wouldn't have gotten an opportunity to see them. Because when they traveled around and they hit all the big stages of Atlanta, it was expensive to get tickets. It was hard to get there. So when Georgia Mountain Fair started bringing the legends of country music, the legends of rock and roll, it made it easier for us to get to see them. It made it easier for us to drive to Hiawassee rather than drive all the way to some of the crazy spots where the venues are, and the traffic and the getting home at 1 o'clock in the morning. That's just hard. So Miss Hilda made it very easy, and she started, it was her idea to book the really cool groups. And she started doing the 60s music. She started doing the country music. She started doing bluegrass. She started doing gospel. Now here's the storm. This is after the fact. This is after the fact the storm came through. And look at that beautiful sunset. This is literally 10 minutes after the storm came through. And the storm did a lot of damage in a lot of areas, and a lot of trees down, a lot of debris. But thankfully, I have not heard of any houses in our local area in Ball Ground that were hit. But I do know some houses in Hill City were hit, and some houses out on 382 were hit here in Gilmer County. So this is, I mean, this is literally 10 minutes after the storm lifted and was gone. And it was just as still as it could be. And there was a rainbow, and it really didn't look real. I was standing there taking pictures and going, this really does not look right. And some of those pictures were taken on a beautiful farm that I sold a few years ago, and those were absolutely gorgeous. And this is what it really looked like. This is the reality of the fact. This is neighbors serving neighbors by going out and helping each other as they lifted the debris. And you know, one of the things we have to really, really be cautious. Oh gosh, y'all, I got to tell you about this. You've got to go. Y'all got to see the program when we talked about Station 10 opening in Jasper. I made it by there, and I might say I sampled 3 different kinds. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. They are located right downtown in Jasper, 2 doors away from the courthouse. And let me tell you, if you don't know what an empanada is, it is time you found out about them. And I can tell you, Evelyn was just going, yum, 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 yum. They were so yummy. They open at 11 o'clock. They're open, I think they're open every day except Sunday. And I'm telling you, maybe Sunday and Monday. We'll have to check their schedule. But oh my goodness. Now this is where we were having dinner as the storm came through, and everything was lovely, and the food was great, and prayer meeting was going on. So excited. And then all of a sudden the clouds come, the sky turns black, the trees start falling, and it was just crazy. It was crazy. But to Dominic's, and actually we're working on a little thing to get them. We want them to win a contest that they're being entered into in Cherokee County and the Realtors Board, and we want them to win. That's my salad. They do great salads. And this is where my office is now. And beautiful, beautiful home in Ball Ground, finished, finally. Everything is finished. It's absolutely gorgeous. And if you're down in that area, stop by and see us. Now those are the baby geese that were born just 3 months ago. Y'all, look at that, how pretty and how beautiful they are. And they look just like their parents now. I have a hard time telling them apart, but the mom and dad still kind of come over and keep me in line because they don't want me messing with their kids. So, but so sweet and such a place of peace. And there you go. That's probably one of my favorite shots because I love the way that old tin roof reflects in the lake or in the pond. You know, find your place of peace and sit and enjoy. My place of peace is the back porch there at that house. I go out there, plug in my laptop. You can get your work done. You can enjoy, except today, because today's going to be 95 degrees, and I don't think I want to be out there sweating it. This is to honor some very, very special ladies, very special ladies. Miss Paula has been sick, and I just wanted to say, you know, get well, Miss Paula, get better, get to feeling good. She got that old dreaded disease that was going around, and not disease, that old dreaded stuff. It's not a disease, it's stuff. We won't give it any credit. But she's, I hope, feeling better today. So, Miss Paula, we love you. We love you. We love you, Miss Minley, Miss Jenny, we love you. Today's a day of memories. And today, as I sat there looking at Tori, thinking, oh my gosh, how much of your life your mom has missed. It is amazing to see Tori growing up. She's 37 now, and I'm like, wow, this is crazy, y'all. It's crazy. And this, as revival runs at Mount Vernon, you have to remember the old grannies and the old gentlemen who were part of the big deal of Mount Vernon Baptist Church, the beginning. Their parents, their grandparents are buried there, and that's my granny, my Aunt Bessie, my Aunt Edith, my Aunt Leela, and Uncle Dewey. And that's that generation that taught us hard work, taught us to can, taught us to cook. And then there's great-great-grandparents. And, you know, we look back and we think about, we wouldn't be who we are today without the memories of what they taught us. So today, get in the kitchen with your grandmother. Get out on the farm with your granddaddy and learn something from them. And I think about yesterday was my Aunt Louise's birthday, and I had a hard time thinking about how much I miss her and Aunt Betty and Uncle Fred. I'm the oldest now, and it's hard to be the oldest because you don't have those people you depended on all your life. And there's Aunt Tempy, who taught me that picking butter beans is more trouble than it is worth. It will take you forever to get a mess of butter beans. And there's Uncle Guy, who had the most amazing work ethics of anybody in the world. Just good folks. Look back on your history. Look back at your family. Now, y'all, this is a project that's going on in Ball Ground, and I'm so excited to have been part of getting to see. This is a house that is taking a total transformation, going to be completely different. It's going to look like a white farmhouse when they finish it. It's been this way for over 40 years. And as you look at it, you see that styles have changed, choices have changed. Everybody went with the white farmhouse look for a while, and because the person who's buying this is going to turn this into a mini farm, he's turning this house into a white farmhouse, and then he's going to have a little mini farm around it that children can come and visit and learn about agriculture. They can learn about pets, they can learn about fresh eggs, they can learn about planting crops. He happens to be, he has a green thumb that's like humongous green thumb because everything he touches is just absolutely beautiful. So, and it is so crazy. We look at the home as it was, and it is changing so drastically. They're moving floors, moving walls, doing all kinds of progress, and I cannot wait to share the way it's going to look, because it is going to be that farmhouse that everybody is doing. And that, it was a little dark in that video, wasn't it? But the house was dark, and my camera did not, yeah, that's not good. Now this, I was surprised, but they took all the kitchen cabinets out and took stuff down, and I don't know what they're going to do. I think they're probably going to paint those, and it's good if you can save wood cabinets, if you're refinishing a house, if you're refurbishing one and you just want to do a room or two at a time. This one is a full gut job, so it's going to be a lot of work. They're changing out doors, they changed out windows. Going to be totally, totally different, but it's so exciting to keep the core of the house, because the house was a very old house, and to be able to keep the core and see it differently. And when you think about when the Hammontrees lived there, it looked one way. When the Praters lived there, it looked one way. When the next family lived there, it looked the same as it did with the Praters. So they didn't change it at all. It stayed just like it had been for many, many years. But the next time you see this house, it will be totally, totally different. I think the only thing I haven't seen change yet is the popcorn ceilings, and I don't know how they're going to do those, but that's pretty thick popcorn, so we'll see what they do with that. But if you're looking, if you're thinking, hey, I'm a pretty good craftsman, take on a project and do it yourself. You know, you can do it. Just kind of make yourself a plan. And at first, they weren't sure how they were going to do the interior of this, and they got it worked out. And it's just crazy. It's crazy how the progress is coming, and moving walls and changing rooms. And again, you've got the electricity to deal with, you've got the plumbing to deal with, and I think it's usually a good plan to keep the plumbing where it was, but not in this house. They moved it completely. Everything is going to be totally different, so going to be very, very different, and it's going to be really neat to show this, because when he finishes with it, it will just look like a brand new farmhouse. Nobody will know that it's been there forever, but it's going to be interesting and fun. I can't wait to see the finished product, and it's going to be really, really cool. It's dark in there, isn't it? Yeah. Crazy, 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 crazy. That is the one place they really had a lot of damage, and had to deal with that because of termites. But they did it, so. And it's funny because the termites were under where the bed was, which is really weird. But termites were, I guess, quiet, so they didn't keep you up at night. I reckon they're quiet. They must be quiet. They do a lot of damage and nobody knows it. So, yeah. But golly, look at those old light fixtures. It's crazy to see how this is transforming, because now it's going to have the black wrought iron lights. It's going to be so different. Going to be so different. And I don't know if they're preserving the old wood floors because they weren't in real good shape and it had carpet all over it. So that'll be interesting to see what kind of floors. I'd say they'll put down LVP. So that's what almost everybody does in the new farmhouses. But really, really cool, really making progress. That's the closet, which they've reconfigured where the living room and the bedroom and the bathroom was. So nothing's going to be the same. It's going to be very unusual, but I can't wait to see the finished product. And they're making progress. It's been a little bit slow with some of the things, but it's got a new roof, new outside, and beginning to look like a home again, and beginning to look totally different. And I'm sure people are passing, they'll say, oh, they've built a new house. No, they redid an old house. They redid an old house, and they redid it pretty quickly. I think they'll be done with it probably maybe in 30 days or so. So that'll be like a 90-day, maybe 120-day turnaround, but making progress and doing what they have to. So pretty cool. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Don't let anything scare you. And I love this as a realtor. People look at houses and they go, oh, it needs so much work. Yeah, but if you can do the work, you save so much money. If you have any talent at all, and you can pick up a house at a decent price today, which is kind of hard to do, but if you can do the work, then you really, really do come out on top of the game. And, you know, a little bit of talent, a little bit of imagination, and you can recreate something. This is the one room that nothing changed in that one. The floor was good, the walls were good. It's really small, but it was good. And I think at one time that was a back porch. So it's just interesting to see the progress. And again, I can't wait to show you what it's going to look like. Now that paint, that did not work for me. I don't know how they did that paint. I think they used to do it with feather dusters, but I don't know how that one was done. But it was kind of dark and gloomy, and I think he's whitening up and lightening up everything, so it'll be really open and light and airy. It's going to be really, really cool. And he's got some craftsmen in there working. They're really doing a good job. And yeah, it's going to be exciting. Exciting. I can't wait. I wish it would hurry and be finished, because I can't walk in the door and go, wow. Because when I walked in and saw how they're moving, and that's what it's going to look like, guys. Look at that. How different is that? It just looks totally different. It looks like a little farmhouse sitting up there on a hill, and he's put up now, since that picture was taken, he's actually put up really pretty entryway. So it looks so different. But yeah, that's how it was when they first were beginning and took down all the rock work, and we're doing the roof, and it's amazing. But it's such a beautiful setting, and it's 6 acres walking distance to downtown ball ground. So we're going to invite you to that. We're going to share a photo now of a young man who sadly lost his life. When those storms came through, we were all praying for each other. We were all hoping that they would pass quickly. But there was one fatality, and it was a young man from Woodstock. He and his brothers are actually my daughter Dawn's cousins. Her daddy and their grandmother were brother and sister. And when I heard the name, I thought, oh, wow, that's familiar. And then I said, oh my goodness. He was 27 years old, and he was just driving home, and a tree fell. So when those storms come through, we have got to learn to be on top of it. Hide somewhere, get under a roof, get under a bed, find your safe spot, find your sweet spot in your house that you feel comfortable, because driving down the road, a tree could fall on you. So to the Wilson family, we will be praying for y'all. And again, he was just heading home, and sad, but Levi Wilson will be remembered, and his service will be at Soesby Funeral Home down in Canton. So remember that young man, and remember his family just trying to get home, and a tree fell on the car. So in memory of him, please say a prayer for his mom and his dad. And Tina and Michael have a lot to deal with, Pray for them, and pray that these storms don't come back. We don't want any more storms, y'all. We're just about, it's been rain and now storms, and we're ready, but we're not ready for the 100-degree temperatures we're going to face today. The boys and I are going to be outside doing some work when we leave here, and I said, can we air condition the outdoors? Probably not. We're going to be in Hiawassee, and we're going to be working on a special that I think y'all are really going to enjoy. We're going to give you some bits and pieces now of what it's been like to be in Hiawassee. We're going to take a commercial break, and then we're going to go to interviews that I wouldn't take $1 million for. I got to be with Charlie Pride. I got to be with Percy Sledge. I got to be with Earl Thomas Conley. I got to be with Connie Smith. Connie Smith is the only one that is surviving. And when we think about that, how blessed was I to get to sit there and talk to these living legends. And then very soon after the interviews, they were all gone. Earl Thomas Conley from Alzheimer's, and Percy Sledge was severe diabetic, and Charlie Pride, sadly, from COVID. So who thought we would lose those legends? And how wonderful it is that the Georgia Mountain Fair brought them to our area, and we got to spend time with them. So we're going to share a little bit of that with y'all today. Here we go.
Whether you're in the mood for chicken strips, a delicious burger, our classic banana split, or an upside-down thick blizzard treat, we've got you covered. Hot and fresh food every day, every time, and delicious DQ soft serve make the perfect pair at your favorite place. Not fast food, fan food fast. Your Blue Ridge, Ellijay, and Jasper Dairy Queens are your meet, eat, and treat headquarters.
Thank you for choosing DQ. How may I serve you?
Georgia Medical Treatment Center now has 2 locations to bring you the high-quality holistic care you've come to know and expect. We treat neck, back, and joint pain with chiropractic care and injection-based treatment without the need for surgery or prescription painkillers. Our medical weight loss program can also provide relief while ridding your body of toxins, pounds, and inches while improving your overall health. Call today for a free consultation, 770-345-2000, or go online to georgiamtc.com.
You know, how you feel on the inside is just as important to me as how you feel on the outside.
Oh, Daddy.
My grown-up is there in every way. Care and take care of you. You're my grown-up and I know you're there. I'm your grown-up and you know I care. 'Cause it's you and me and me and you. So when you are okay or not okay, I'll take care of you.
See us anytime you can.
Whether you're swimming in the sea or splashing in the pool, making a masterpiece, or just making memories, writing a great American novel, or writing your term paper that's due tomorrow. Whatever you do in life, Farmers is here to protect it. For all your insurance needs, call Donald Curtis in Blue Ridge.
Welcome to beautiful Hiawassee, Georgia. We are at the Georgia Mountain Fairgrounds in Anderson Music Hall, one of my favorite locations to interview legends. Today I am with a true legend. I've waited a lifetime to interview Charley Pride. He has 36 #1 hits. He is one of those guys I listen to all of my long life. I'm now 63 years old, and I'm happy to say all the periods of my life, there was never a time that your music wasn't touching me. Thank you for doing this interview, and thank you for fighting the Atlanta traffic to get here, because you fought the traffic, didn't you, honey?
Every time he decide maybe we ought to go this, it goes like this for a little while. He says, 2 miles up will be workload.
No way around the Atlanta traffic. You are a little bit older than me, and we're not going to disclose your age, but you're a little bit older than me. I'm still very active and on the go all the time, and it really does help keep my mind focused. Your mind is on so much. I mean, I'm sitting here listening to your interview. You love baseball. You love traveling. You love performing. You love your grandchildren. And I understand that you're going to leave here tonight and go back to Texas to do some things with your family. Charley, how do you do all of this?
Well, I don't know, but I just do it. I mean, I try not to get all sideways about anything, and I just, if it's going to be, we're going to do it, we're going to do it. Like,
right.
I'm late here, but we're still doing this, what we're supposed to do. I'm supposed to do this, what I was supposed to do prior to getting here, but I've got to go pretty soon. I'm going to have to dress and go do the show.
Right.
But I'm not gonna squinch and scrunch about it. I mean, I'm gonna do both of them.
You gotta do it. You gotta do it.
So I don't know, other than I just try to do it.
Did you ever wake up one morning and say, there's one more thing I want to do? Is there anything that you haven't accomplished you would like to accomplish?
Oh yeah, there's so many things. I like to make the world a little bit better place than I've already done. I think I've done a pretty good job, because I've got so many fans that love my singing and have treated me so fine and kind, but it's always another plateau. I mean, and I figure the Lord let me stay here for some reason, and I mentioned it earlier that I think it's better than just get up and lay down, get up and eat and sleep and lay down. I think it's always felt that there was something more to it than just that.
Right. I would think you were an overachiever, because you don't just do, you do, then you overdo. Have you passed it on to your children?
Well, I tried, but I don't know whether I've done it. I've spoiled a lot of, especially my daughter.
Surely not. Angela, you have a daughter named Angela?
Oh, boy, she wears me out.
Yeah. I had a daughter named Angela, and a very special young lady. So.
Yeah, well, she's special, but don't let no finger there. We're going to do what
He's trying to get my attention, isn't he? He'll tell you right quick, I don't usually pay attention to him, but I can tell you something about your music. I don't know anybody who wasn't touched by some of it. And we were talking yesterday about our favorite songs. And we all had such different ideas of favorite songs. My favorite is All I Have to Offer You Is Me.
That was my first number one.
I absolutely fell in love with that song, and I wore it out playing it. Does Charlie Pride have a favorite song? Is there one? Which one?
Yes, one I'm singing at the moment.
Okay, well, that's pretty cool.
And
that's pretty cool.
That's not just I'm making an answer, but it's the truth. For example, we go to Ireland and we have to kind of change our, not change, but interchange songs. For example, Crystal Chandeliers was never a single, but I've been doing it in my show all these years. When I go to, they released it in Ireland as a single about 2 or 3 times. I get ready to do that song. It's oh the crystal, the walls tremble.
Oh, wow.
So I'm loving doing that song.
Yeah.
I go to Australia and New Zealand. They got on the wings of a soft wind. So I love singing it when I'm singing that.
Yeah.
So whatever I'm singing at the moment wasn't just said out of trying to be smart about it. It's the truth.
That's it.
And I've been blessed with being able to do songs from albums that people love more than they do what you said a moment ago, what you like. All I Have to Offer You Is Me was my first number one single. Because there's people that go in that album and they pick this one out and they pick that one out.
Right.
And the reasons for that is Jack Clement. Because he said, no, we're going to go put All I Have to Offer You Is Me and then do Kiss an Angel Good Morning, just throw a whole bunch of songs around. We're going to do songs that everything we do, we think that could be a single. If it's an A song, we make it a double A. If it's a double A, make it a triple A. So we just don't do songs to just throw them in to fill up the album.
Right.
So I think that's why I have sold so many albums. I only had 1 million selling single, and that was Kiss an Angel Good Morning, but I've sold I don't know how many albums.
How many couples do you think started their romance with that song on the radio?
All I Have to Offer You Is Me?
Oh, no, Kiss an Angel Good Morning.
All of them.
I know what women
Both of
feel.
them.
Yeah, well, I know what women feel when they're listening to that song. I know
I
what they
just
feel about it.
received an email from a lady says, we were going to school, high school, and we loved one another, but we broke up and we came back together. Now we've been married 35 years. Your song, All I Have to Offer You Is Me, brought us back together. Okay.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to take a break for just a minute because we're going to have to end this quickly because you... Welcome to the Georgia Mountain Fair, where we are with a living legend, the beautiful, the young, the vivacious, talented Miss Connie Smith, or Mrs. Marty Stewart. I love being able to call you that.
Good, me too.
I love everything about your relationship. When you stand on stage next to him and you hold his hand, everybody can see that love. I think it's so precious. 17 years.
17 years so far.
17 years, opposites attract. Is there an opposite attraction? Are you more alike or are you more opposite?
We've got a lot of things we like, but yeah, well, he is much more creative. He is much more motivated. He's much more talented. But we have a lot of things that we are similar into, so we get along great.
People ask often about a project with the two of you. Maybe composing, singing, doing. Do you ever see the two of you on the road together, just doing shows together?
Well, we do shows together every now and then, but and then sometimes I'll just take my steel player and go do some shows with his band.
Steel player.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, amazing.
Isn't it? Gary Carter.
Amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to travel without a steel guitar player because
Yeah.
I just really love the steel. It's a part of my sound, and I have, I can sing with a piano or I can sing with just a guitar or whatever, but I really love the steel guitar. So
Right.
I'm really proud to work with the guys that I have in the band. So that's great. But Marty and I do some shows together, both of us, and then we've done shows where I do some and he does some, and then we do some together, and then both bands get on stage and they do something together. So I just totally love the Fabulous Superlatives, and he loves the Sundowners.
Awesome.
So we get along really well. So.
You see the color I have on today? It's in honor of the Marty Stewart show.
How about that?
Because I noticed one day y'all were wearing the teal and the black.
Yes.
And I said, oh, yes.
It works good, huh?
I asked you to put on purple this morning, and I said, no. They're about teal and black. I got to change clothes.
But they do have some purple ones, too.
Oh, yes, they do. We love the Marty Stewart show. We love the idea. I got to see Kitty Wells on there, and I love seeing you stand next to her. Can we talk a little bit about who influenced you and encouraged you?
Sure. I don't really have any particular influence, because sometimes growing up we couldn't even get country music. We just had to get whatever batteries would pick up, and living sometimes in the mountains and all that. So I loved, my favorite country girl singer is Loretta Lynn. Probably my favorite lady.
I vote for that.
And my favorite lady in country music was Miss Kitty Wells, because she was a lady in every sense of the word, and a great artist and a forerunner, and she set it up for us.
Absolutely.
Her and Gene Shepard, they did things that had never been done.
Right.
And so I have to give honor to them all times. But and I have a lot of great girl friends in the country music business. But I always would listen to music, and I'd pick things, that I loved Ella Fitzgerald and Sarah Vaughan and Nancy Wilson. I mean, there's so many great singers, and I love Brooke Benton and Frank Sinatra and all that, as well as country. But the songs that really get my heart when George Jones sings The Cold Hard Truth or anything.
Yes.
I mean, he was my favorite male singer, and Ray Price or Merle Haggard. You can't say really who's the best, because they're so unique. And I was fortunate enough to get in a business where there was room for 1 million, but only one of each.
Right.
And everybody had their own unique sound to their voice, sound to what they did on stage, and also sound to the band. You could hear the first 2 licks of whatever song it was, and you'd know who was going to start singing, because each artist had their unique sound. And it's not that way today. It's different. But back then, I did my best not to sound like another girl singer, because there's no one that can sing Kitty Wells songs but Kitty Wells, or Loretta's songs, and I mean they were just so wonderful.
Right. Today when they introduced you and they said a voice among no others, there's nobody like you, because yours, the minute you start, and I will tell you right now, our camera guy has got Once a Day in his head. Once you hear that song, it doesn't leave you. Now that was your first release, and it went to #1?
For 8 weeks.
For 8 weeks. Okay, what was it like to get shot out of there and #1? Right, how in the world do you keep on doing that?
Well, it was scary, because I basically wanted to record something. I wanted to hear my song on the radio one time, and that was my goal.
Whoa!
Yeah, and then Once a Day hit, and I was from out of nowhere, because nobody had heard of me, and at the first. Every year they used to have a disc jockey convention. Now it's Fan Fest, but it was where all the disc jockeys came in, and they got to meet and interview all the artists, and we did for 2 or 3 days. All we did was interviews and all with the different disc jockeys that played our records on the radio, and they were literally pulling me, one each way. And but I remember the very first disc jockey convention was in November, and Once a Day was #1 in the nation. And I was walking down the hall of the hotel where they were carrying on the convention, and this guy was walking toward me, and all I heard him saying, "Once a Day." And I knew that's how I met George Jones. He was saying the first words out of his mouth.
I love it.
Yeah, it was really great.
You are addictive, and people who listen to your music, I like everything you do, and I like the idea that you do some upbeat stuff. You don't do all the, now, my lifestyle, I've done that, you ain't coming home and drinking, and I've done that, you ain't woman enough, I've lived that life, but I love your upbeat stuff. So, where Loretta's music kind of took us out fighting, it's pretty upbeat, and today I love that about your show, and I think the audience did too.
Well, I think every singer really loves a ballad. I mean, everybody loves to sing a ballad. But I do love the upbeat, and I just had the great musicians on my sessions. I mentioned we had just lost a month or so ago Weldon Myrick, who played steel guitar. He worked with Bill Anderson when I first came to town, and Bill's band was on my first record because Bill wrote my first songs. And so they played, and Weldon was in such a creative time in his career of just, he would work so hard and come up with stuff. And when I wrote that little song, I'll Come Running, I don't know if anybody would have cut it or not. I mean, it was just a fun song, but when Weldon did that, get that steel thing on it, it made a big difference. And it was, to me, it was like Weldon was my dancing partner, you know.
Yeah.
The musicians in that era, they knew when to play.
The Georgia Mountain Fairgrounds. We're in beautiful, beautiful Hiawassee, Georgia. Now, I came here listening to a song called Smoky Mountain Memories, and I found the man responsible for this song when I got here, Mr. Earl Thomas Conley.
Yeah, I gave you a little different version tonight.
You did. Now, let's talk about this. Is a 1974 song?
Yeah.
And you don't usually do it in your program.
No, we don't. No, we've changed so many band members and stuff, and we used to do it all the time. I've got a whole bunch of stuff I got to get back into the show, but...
Let's talk about the writing of that song.
Yeah, I wrote it with Dick Hurd. He had a false name, Richmond Devereaux, or something like that. Anyway, he passed away a few years back, and invited me. I was living in Huntsville, and wanted to know if I had any good ideas for songs, and I just gave him this idea, and we sat there and wrote it and everything, and then and Mel Street recorded it.
Whose version do I like the best? Yours.
Pardon me?
I like your version better.
Do you?
I've listened
to you
both.
didn't tonight, though.
Tonight?
I didn't like my version at all.
Tonight
I couldn't
was
remember.
one of those nights. We do have to say you've got the flu. You've been
this
sick
stuff
for,
just makes you crazy.
Yeah. But great performance.
Well, thank you.
Love Angel in Disguise.
You do?
So many #1 songs. Now let's talk about that.
I got more.
21 #1 songs?
Altogether. Then we had, I don't know how many top 10s, but we had more #1s than we had top 10s because shortly after I got started, I started having #1. So we went out and found the best. By the time I got started real good, about Holding Her and Loving You, I ran out of my own songs. And Robert Byrne and Walt Aldridge and a bunch of them boys from Muscle Shoals. I used to go to Muscle Shoals all the time and do demos and work with those guys over there when I was living in Huntsville. And so they caught on to my style and wrote songs for me. So I had a whole bunch of them in a row that they wrote.
Your style is very unique.
Yeah,
Today, it is just as it was 20 years ago?
Yeah, well, let's see. The last thing I recorded was 91 with Keith Whitley. Well, that's when it went to #1.
Now, what's that one called?
Brotherly Love.
Brotherly Love.
Yeah.
Did he live to see that released?
No. No, he didn't make it that long.
Well, we're going to take a break right now, and we're going to go to some of your music because we led into this with my favorite song, Smoky Mountain Memories. Now we're going to go to the one that Keith didn't live to see released. Did it go to #1?
Yeah.
Do you think tonight when you did that, does it bring back memories of him?
Yeah. Sometimes you feel like crying up there.
That's right.
Especially if the crowd's real good.
Well, we're going to take a break right now, and we're going to go to that song and let our audience hear that. Cool. And maybe some of them will remember this song. #1, written by who?
Oh, now you ask me a hard question. I know their names, but it's more than one person. 2 or 3 guys, I think.
Great song.
And we didn't record it at the same time. I did my piece while he was on the road, and he came in and finished it up when he got in off the road. So.
Oh wow! Well, tonight we're going to show him a version of you and your band tonight doing this song.
There you go.
Now, who sang Keith's part tonight?
Mike Powell.
Mike Powell. Let's go to the song.
The banjo and mandolin player.
We saw that.
Guitar guy.
Let's go to some great Earl Conley music. You just got to hear tonight's live version of Keith Whitley's song. Is that one of your favorites?
Yeah, Keith was one of my favorite people too.
And he was how old when he passed away?
How old?
How old was he? 40?
I don't know.
Was he about 40?
We never did check each other's age or anything out.
I know he was awful young. Awful young.
Yeah,
and what an amazing talent.
Oh.
What an amazing talent.
Own worst enemy, I guess.
Yep. Now let's talk about your travels. Where will you go this year, and where can people find you?
I'm going to go to Oklahoma and Texas next.
Are you going to be with B.J. Thomas?
Yeah. I think it's Oklahoma.
Durant, Oklahoma, I believe.
How do you know all that? You know more than I do.
You'd be surprised what I know
to check
about
with you to find out what I'm supposed to be doing.
That's right. That's right.
We worked with him down in Alabama here a couple of years ago, I guess, and it was a real good show. A bunch of people.
Well, my favorite B.J. Thomas song is Billy and Sue. So when you see him, tell him to do it and send it back to Georgia for me.
There you go.
He has a lot of good stuff, but he's like you. There's always that one song. Now, when you step on stage, what is the one song everybody wants to hear?
It's changed some over the years. Holding Her in Love and You's been been a steady one.
Oh, yes, that is a great song. Tonight, I stood behind the curtain watching men in the audience sing that song. And I love that. Yeah,
They've been there and done
I think
that.
some men out there have been there, done that. Yeah.
Cheater, cheater, cheater.
Oh, that's not good.
No.
Okay, let's talk about your band. Do you have members that have been with you a while?
The piano player's been with me.
He's
well,
amazing.
actually, Mike Pyle, the guy that helped me with Brotherly Love, has been with me about 14, 15 years, I guess. And John's next. He's been with me a little less time than that. And then Dan over on the right plays the lead guitar from Des Moines. He's been with me the third longest. And the drummer's new.
He did a good job tonight.
And I was forgetting his name. They got to work with me for a while before it comes to you what their name is.
Now, what about your bus driver? How did he end up singing?
He's always done. He's from up in Pennsylvania, and him and his brothers had bands and stuff. And I was lucky enough to run into him here a few years back. Man, he's the best driver. You can sleep. I don't care what kind of road it is. He is so good as a driver and a great singer too.
Yeah, he did a good job tonight. We got a little footage of him, and we're going to show a little bit of that. Right now we're going to take a break, and we're going to go to another song. I think I want to do, what is my favorite? I kind of like Angel in Disguise. Do you like that song?
Yeah, I wrote it.
Love
me
that
and,
song.
Me and Randy Scruggs wrote it.
Love that song. Let's go to one of my favorites. Not my favorite now. Smoky Mountain Memories is my absolute favorite. But we're going to let
It's
people
going to
get
think you're cheating on it.
We're going to get a little taste of a little bit of different music by you because
Good.
you've done some fast, you've done some old, you've done some stuff about cheating, you've done some stuff about being faithful. You did a great one tonight we're going to go to in just a minute, but right now we're going to Angel in Disguise.
Okay, you didn't get to see the music on that because we're holding that for you. We're doing a special. Remember today, we're going to be traveling up to Hiawassee. We are going to be capturing the beauty of that place. And then we're going to share all the memories of the much music, the amazing, all the people who have graced that stage. And I keep adding people to the list. How many people have been there? How many years? Almost 75 years, guys. So we're going to share that with you. Right now, I want to share something with you, and I just want to show you this picture of the storm because this storm, it really did. It made some messes, made some hard times, made some craziness. But I found something in Mike Smith's book, and I think as we look at that, I want to share this with you. When we go through the storms of life at times, it seems like all hope is lost. We look for something or someone to hold on to. There will be times when we feel like we are all alone. I've been there, and you have too. When my son was sick with cancer, I even asked the question, where's God? I couldn't see him, hear him, or feel his presence. But later, I realized he had never left me. He had been there the whole time. That's when I discovered that when we're not alone, we never have been. Trust him, he's there. So in the storms of our life, we have to trust him. As Mike and Tina lay their young son to rest, they have to trust him. We have to trust him. If you got bad news at the doctor today, you have to trust him. That is what we are taught, and that is what we should believe, and we do have to put our trust in him. We couldn't share any music for Earl Thomas Conley because that night, honestly, the whole band had the flu. And he said, you know, we're not on top of our game tonight. We don't have to be on top of our game. We just have to do the best that we possibly can. If you're having a bad day, or if you're having a day that you're feeling down and sad and sorry, just, you know, do something to make you feel better. Often music makes you feel better. One of my favorite songs that always made me feel good was by Don Denver. And I never got to interview John Denver. He died young and suddenly, and what a loss to the music industry. I don't think he was ever at the Georgia Mountain Fair, but his music touched so many lives, and we're going to share somebody else doing a John Denver song. Here we go.
And it is so good to be back in Ellijay, Georgia.
That's right. Ain't it good to be back home again?
Yeah, it is, but
I wanted him to sing that song so bad.
There's a storm across the valley, clouds are rolling in. The afternoon is heavy on your shoulder. There's a truck out on the 4-lane, a mile or more away. The whining of his wheels just makes it colder.
We're going to give you this great apple recipe, really easy. Peanut butter bread and apples, that's pretty simple. And I bet you you're going to like it.
well, I don't think it'd be a good idea for me to try it on the set, because I may have to leave the set.
Now, we're not going to say that we stayed up all night long and did these, right? But we will say you took the motorhome under something that said 11 foot and the motorhome's 12 feet. How did we do that?
We wasn't sure we was going to be getting our wings this morning. Hey, it's good to be back home again. Sometimes this old farm feels like a long lost friend. Yes, and hey, it's good to be back home again. There's all. And if you was wondering why I was singing and doing this, because if you'll watch Sherry, she'll just sit there and she'll just. Oh, is that what you're doing? You're just rubbing your quilt?
I love my quilt. I love my quilt. Yes.
And your mother called last Friday, sunshine made her cry. You felt the baby move just yesterday. Hey, it's good to be back home again. Sometimes this old farm feels like a long lost friend. Yes, and hey, it's good to be back home again.
Have a name, let's call them Misfits.
They might not appreciate that.
I don't know. Let's go down to some awesome music. Here we are, Matt Diamond.
And we're going this time.
We are.
All right, cut the camera off.
Madeline.
Yeah.
Listen, I will say is he's younger than me, and that's all I'm going to say.
Well, 58's younger than you. Try it again. It's not 58.
It's the sweetest thing I know of, just spending time with you. It's the little things that make a house a home. Like a fire softly burning, supper on the stove. The light in your eyes that makes me warm. Hey, it's good to be back home again. Sometimes this old farm feels like a long lost friend. Yeah, it's good to be back home again. Hey, it's good to be back home again. Sometimes this old farm feels like a long lost friend. Yes, and hey, it's good to be back home again. I said, hey, it's good to be back home again. My home's in Ball Ground, Georgia. No matter where I lay my head.
Oh, wow, what a bunch of crazy memories. You know, you look back and you either laugh, cry, cuss, or fuss, but we have had some crazy moments in television. Doing live television for as long as we have has been a lot of fun, a lot of lessons, a lot of learning, and just a good day. And I hope today you have a good day. And I want to encourage all of y'all to go to August the 16th through the 24th, the Georgia Mountain Fair, and it has, we are going to be doing the Miss Georgia Mountain Fair pageant. Is on Thursday the 15th, and on the 16th the fair officially opens. The concert that night is the Bellamy Brothers and Gene Watson. Tickets are available for that. Gene Watson is one of those interviews I was lucky enough to do. What a great, great guy. And on Saturday, it's going to be Tommy James and the Shondells. That's August the 17th. Tickets are on sale for that. So get out and enjoy the Georgia Mountain Fair coming to you from Hiawassee, Georgia. It doesn't get any better than that. I hope that you'll get out and enjoy and spend some time in these beautiful mountains. You know, there's something about mountain life, and there's a gentleman here who wrote a song about mountain life. And we're not playing the song in its entirety yet because he's changed it up a little bit. He added another lick or two on one instrument, another lick or two on another one. And we're going to get revised stuff from Mr. Ellijay very soon. He's working hard to get her done. And when he gets her done and he's got nothing else to do to it, he's going to be back up here front and center. He keeps saying, just give me a little time. Holy cow. I feel like I've given him a sentence of life in prison because he's been gone so long, but he'll be back. He'll be back. He's working on the music. He is tweaking a little of this, a little of that, because, you know, he is one of those guys that says, well, I think it'd be better this way. So say a little prayer for the sweet, sweet family who lost their son in this storm. Those storms came through. They wreaked havoc on many lives. Many people without electricity, but there's a family facing the loss of their young son, so please pray for the Wilson family. I hope that today you get out and you enjoy this hot Georgia day because it's going to be 95 in our area. Please stay hydrated, have fun, enjoy every single moment because you know what? We are not guaranteed tomorrow. We'll see you again soon on ETC. Y'all take care.